So Loren, it's a big question. It's a big question for those that are getting ready to retire. Should they retire together? What's the easy answer?
Yes? No? Maybe so? It's one of those three answers.
And that's what we want to do today. We want to help you as a couple, if you're watching, kind of come to the conclusion or at least start having the conversation about retiring together. And Chawn, like all of the things that you do when you sit down with individuals and families, you kind of walk them through the 5 guiding principles, and that's no different when you're trying to help couples decide if they should retire together.
Yeah, there's the financial aspect of it. It's those 5 principles that we focus on as we work with families and individuals to develop that comprehensive retirement plan. But then there's this whole emotional side. There's lots of different factors and principles that you need to factor in too as you work to make that retirement decision and try to nail down the timing of when you feel like you're ready to take that step from working to retirement.
Yeah, and Loren, you kind of jokingly said yes, no, but the reality is one of the studies I looked at said about 50% of couples retire together and 15% of couples kind of retire more staggered. But again, we're kind of going to use the same sort of principles that you use, I should say, when you sit down with couples and help them write out a comprehensive customized retirement plan.
Yes, the principles are going to be the same because whether you retire together or you retire separate, you're still going to need the income when you choose to retire, either one of you or both of you. And when you take that income, you're still going to have to pay taxation on the income. So how do you keep most of what it is that you earn and pay less to the IRS? And then of course there's a big concern out there right now about healthcare, long-term care, because of how expensive it is to afford, how expensive it is as you go through the course of your retirement. And then when everything is said and done, what you have left over, how do you transition it the most efficient way to your loved ones and your charities?
So 8 questions to talk about with your spouse before you decide to retire together. Question number 1, here it is. When do you plan to retire? And Chawn, that seems pretty obvious, but I think you've found when you sit down with couples, sometimes they haven't really kind of, had a lot of real in-depth conversations about this.
Yeah, oftentimes that's not the primary conversation that families want to go home and talk about over the weekend after working all week and wanting to go have some fun. So we know that it's not that easy to get that conversation started, but what we also know is the timing, it's so challenging and critical, whether you've had that plan for so many years and maybe you had an age set out there and you get to that age and maybe you're not quite ready, or ready, you're more of maybe a fly by the seat of your pants type person where you feel like maybe you're just going to know. There's so many factors, so many variables. We know it's very challenging to commit to that retirement plan and timing and even set exactly the retirement date and time that you're going to be ready for and feel comfortable about.
And I suppose, Loren, sometimes I'd like to think that all marriages communicate perfectly, just like mine. No, but sometimes maybe one spouse is thinking one thing and the other spouse is thinking another. Yeah, maybe they've talked about it, but again, have they really talked about it?
Which is part of the benefit of co-creating the retirement plan, because in that retirement plan, it will outline, here's when Mr. Jones is expected to retire, here's when Mrs. Jones is expected to retire, is it together, is it separate, where's the income coming from? And from a financial standpoint, it's a lot easier then for you to make those types of decisions in practice when you can see how all of these different pieces of the retirement puzzle are going to work together. And so as an example, let's say we get to the time frame where Mr. Jones is expected to retire, but emotionally Mr. Jones isn't quite ready yet. He wanted to retire in December and November rolls around, he says, I'm not quite ready. But from a financial planning standpoint, you understand that you are ready, and now it's a matter of getting these other components in gear to be ready as well. So you have to be ready from a financial standpoint, also emotional standpoint, and have some kind of idea of what your lifestyle plan is going to look like when you do retire. And if you have that lifestyle plan, then it does become much easier when December comes around for Mr. Jones or Mrs. Jones to make that final step to do or to transition to the rest of their life, if you have that lifestyle plan, because then you know where you're going to pick up, and it's going to be substantially different than what you're accustomed to over the last 40 years, but you already have an idea of what that is, and it's going to make the transition easier. Thank you for watching this clip of Retiring Today, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have questions about your retirement plan, take advantage of the complimentary 15-minute retirement checkup phone call.